Greetings and welcome to another installment of Saratoga In Shutdown, a series produced by the Spa City Review to discuss the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the Saratoga community. If you'd like to contact us, you can reach us at news@spacityreview.com. For many senior citizens, isolation is a constant concern. Now, with social distancing mandates in place, the members of our community who are most susceptible to the COVID-19 virus face even greater challenges in combating isolation from peers, friends, and family. In this episode, we speak with Lois Celeste, Executive Director of the Saratoga Senior Center, to discuss how that organization is reaching out to Saratoga's seniors during this pandemic. I'm Peter Burley, and joining us as always is Spa City Review contributor Megan Zine. Lois, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So Lois, you've been the Executive Director of the Senior Center for a while now. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Senior Center is and what kind of services you offer?
Sure. What it was, what it is, kind of what we still are. Absolutely. I've been there almost 10 years. This summer will be 10 years. And, there's senior centers all over in different communities. Ours was kind of senior center on steroids, if you will. And what we had become it's really a hub for socialization for seniors. And we did everything from your typical trips, card games, bridge, to exercise classes and art classes and food programs and food to go programs, dinners inside. We started a lot of outdoor programs. We had golf and walking clubs and all kinds of great things, for different seasons. Back in 2014 and 15, what we realized is obviously seniors age. And with that sometimes comes some issues, be it housing, be it healthcare, anything. Physical limitations. So back in 2014-15, we launched our senior support services, specifically our Community Connections program, which is a volunteer match program. And it matches seniors in need with volunteers in the community. Before Corona, it was really us matching, kind of a buddy system, if you will, a mentoring buddy system. So you'd pick somebody up, a senior up who isn't driving anymore, and bring them to the grocery store, bring them to get their hair done, bring them to their doctor's appointments. Or it was a friendly visitor. They're isolated and living at home. And so you'd have a buddy, like, go and visit them, read them stories they like to go through their, recipe books, make food with them. We had all kinds of really fun things going on. We also did programs with Skidmore College, with the Giving Circle, and we did yard work. So big thing with seniors is aging in place. As you probably know, in our community, sometimes affordable housing is tough, and affordable senior housing and housing for seniors. So it's much more affordable oftentimes for seniors to age in place, but it comes with challenges. So this program tried to match up those challenges. So again, like I said, we were kind of a senior center on steroids as far as what we were doing. A gap would appear of what needs are there in the community for seniors, and we would try to jump in. Our senior support services really, really took off from 2014-15, and about a year and a half ago, we launched a transportation program. We were finding we were really great at getting people aging in place, getting them to places and things, but what we do is socialization. And so we realized we wanted to try to get them into the center to meet other people and be socialized. So we started doing a shuttle and bringing people to grocery stores from senior housings and all of that. We do a lot of peer support groups and advocacy, information referral, all of that. So our senior support services it was really run part-time, but it's become so important to what we do on top of all of our socialization and programs and all of that.
Can you clarify for me what you mean by age in place? I'm unfamiliar with that phrase.
Sure. So, be it if you were in your home that seniors have lived in for a long time, or even if you've downsized into some kind of another apartment or a smaller place to live, rather than try to sell. Oftentimes, especially, I'll talk Saratoga Springs specifically, you know, we know that affordable housing is such an issue, but
Yeah.
if you try to sell your house and then downsize into something comparable, that's not always easy. I'm actually going through that right now. It's not easy to find something. So seniors oftentimes will try to stay in their house because maybe they don't owe a mortgage on it anymore and they can afford to live there. But the upkeep is huge. So can they afford to do their yard work? If something goes wrong, what do you do? Maybe, you know, they only live 2 miles out of town, but they're not really Uber friendly, and they still need to get to doctor's appointments and they can't drive anymore. You know, seniors experience, it's a really interesting segue into Corona. Seniors are socially isolated oftentimes, not entirely. You don't want to generalize completely, but many are isolated and live a little bit like we're living right now on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And they have such a loss. You know, sometimes it is the loss of their home. Sometimes it's a loss of their lifetime partner. Sometimes it's a loss of all of their friends that they've had so long. You have a lot of cataracts and macular degeneration, so it's loss of sight. Hearing. Seniors have, a lot of them have hearing aids and they're so annoying, they hate them. They take them out, you know, and their ability to drive. It's grieving all these losses. So they, you know, you want to maintain some semblance of dignity and independence. And a lot of them want to live at home and they don't want to downsize. So how we try to do programs that really help them be able to do that and make those lifestyle changes. On top of the fact that there's numbers out there, and I'm not going to hit the number exactly, but you know, to age in place and push services into a senior is something like, you know, $6,000 a year, as opposed to try going and living into an assisted living facility that could go up to $10,000 a month.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
More, but it's tough. So you're isolated in a big house. You don't have rides places, hard to keep up like you used to keep up your house. So those are the kind of services that our Community Connections program try to help people, help them age in place, help them age where they're living and not have to move if this is where they choose to be. I don't know if I explained it the right way to you.
That was great. So now, so you said that you've got a community which, not always, but in many cases, is already dealing with isolation regularly, and now the pandemic comes and it becomes doubly so. So for the senior center, what kind of challenges were you facing in trying to continue services during this shutdown?
Well, I keep calling the new normal evolution and fluid, because about every 2 weeks something changes and we have to do it differently, even though we're all trying to adjust. So Zoom, let's talk
Yeah.
Zoom. You know, even for the whole staff, we didn't on Zoom. Not-for-profits do not have a great budget, so like this is, you know, even purchasing Zoom was a stretch for us. But you know, we're learning, so we're learning Zoom classes. But honestly, when we first were hit with this, my instinct right away was we need to shut down. You know, I work with the most vulnerable population, and we needed to not have a place that they were still coming. There was 1 week that was a gray area that I really felt we should shut down, and we hadn't yet. And we were very nervous for everybody coming in.
Yeah.
So happy to have shut down the building. But when that happened, it became a homeless shelter for shelters in Saratoga for about 3 weeks. And then we've got the building back. So we're very much essential services, and we had to evolve and adjust. So we're back in there. And, you know, again, it's just, what is the gap? What is the need? So we really first started with what we were doing from home, and all the staff were doing from home, which was our senior support services, our community connections folks, there was about 250 of them. We first started calling all of them and checking in. What do they need? Do they need food? And a lot needed emergency work with like EOC or food pantries that were out there. Some needed grocery shopping. So that's when we started adding grocery shopping. And if they need transportation, we would refer them to the Office for the Aging. There's still some medical transports going on, but as you know, there's not a lot of elective things going on. So there still can be home delivered meals through the Office for the Aging, the County Office for the Aging. but even that's like changed and looks a little bit different. You know, they're doing about 10 meals at a time and frozen and maybe twice a week, but there's still options. Every time we saw what the need was, we made sure we matched it up. And so then it kind of evolved into books and puzzles. You know, people are getting bored. So we are now, people donated things and we are repurposing them and putting them right up back out there and doing a lot of using volunteers, no contact whatsoever with the senior. Things left on doorsteps, things wiped down, all of that. So we're doing that. Masks, I would say last week, Lawrence was really hit with everybody asking for masks and we didn't have any. So, you know, we all reached out to our neighbors, my sisters doing it, everybody, and like sew some masks. And then yesterday we got a large donation of masks from the city of Saratoga Springs. So we are in the process of getting those to our residents. So we first started with like calling about 200 seniors and checking in. And now we do reassurance calls to them. So anybody who's alone, that doesn't have a family member, that doesn't have somebody checking on them, and even if they do, we're doing calls just on a regular basis, a couple times a week, checking in. Then we opened it up to our membership, which is about 1,500 people. And we called all of them to see how they're doing. Through this process, we were trying to teach some to get some emails, because that was our method of getting information out to them and, you know, seeing how much they knew with Zoom. And then we actually reached out to a whole nother list we had of people who hadn't renewed yet this year and see if they needed help. So we've reached out to well over 2,000 seniors by phone, left some messages. Our goal right now is to, you know, we've done that, but there's plenty of people out there that we don't have their numbers. They weren't members of ours. We don't know about them. So we're trying to reach those folks.
Now, in seeing how this program is working now, do you think even after the senior center is able to reopen, the physical space is able to reopen, do you see an enhanced program for Zoom in the future, even after the shutdown ends?
Yeah, and the Zoom is a whole nother piece of, like, besides the support services, Zoom has been so fun. It's with challenges, and we got some Zoom programming going today. Aiden had a strength training. Aiden has his own studio downtown, and he's volunteered for us for many years. And his class is one of our biggest classes. So he was the first one to raise his hand and said, "I'll do a Zoom class." And we probably have about 25 people that sign on to his class from home. And so it's been very exciting. It's definitely met with challenges. Listen, I learned Zoom, so try teaching it to an 80-year-old who maybe isn't even on a computer. Yeah. But it's so exciting. You know, one day Colleen and I had like 3 devices going. I had my laptop, my phone, she had an iPad and her laptop, and trying to work somebody through how do we get them on their video and their audio, and we're YouTubing things and all of that. And it was really cool. It's such a huge success when they get on. And, you know, we've had other classes like our Canasta group, right, who get together and play a physical game. And at first they're like, "Oh, why do we want to do this?" And then you see them all pop up and they see each other's faces and they're so happy. So many of our classes have turned into social hours almost.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Which I would argue is just as important as the activity itself.
Which is what everything we do is for. It's for the socialization, you know, and we already know socialization. You know, there's issues with depression and health and things like that when you're isolated, which I think everybody in this world is figuring out at this point. But, you know, it's so key. This is our mission every day of the week. So the classes and the Zoom have been really, really cool and very fun. And we're now running into the issue of, you know, you can only do 1 Zoom per hour. So we're filling up our calendar. But I do, you know, you asked me a question about what's the new normal going to look like. You know, I think once the community gets opened up, we've had several conversations about it. And, you know, even when we're allowed to open, you know, I definitely want to open. We have people that are asking, and I think it's, you know, we'll be as protective as we can of our population. But, you know, what will that look like? You know, are they having everybody do a squirt of sanitizer when they walk in the door? You know, I've heard stores that you have to step in a little something so you sanitize your shoes, and putting wipes all over the place if they're touching things. You know, I don't know what it's going to look like. I think some people will say, "I'm good with it and I'm coming in and I'm going to take a class there." And I think some hopefully will stay home and do things still through Zoom. So we're working through some of those issues. I would love to see a lot of our classes put on Zoom so that it can be either way. We're not really technological geeks that work there. We're more
Yeah.
on the human side. So we have to work through those, but I definitely think it'll be a combination of both. We have a large trips program, and how realistic is that to put 10 seniors in a van? Or I'm really hopeful that by maybe August or September we can do a bus trip. Maybe every summer we go to places like Burlington, or we've gone to Skinny Atlas, we've gone to Lake Placid. Like, maybe it is feasible. Everybody put a mask on and have gloves on and get on the bus, and we get out and it's an outdoor activity. I don't know. None of us knows. We all look at that, but we are thinking about those things. I'm also, this week, I connected with Skidmore College, and I've got actually 4 students. Well, one I just hired a little bit, thanks to the PPP loan, and 3 more that are going to join us from all over the country working remotely. And I'm really excited about it. They all have different skill sets. And, one is a creative writer, so we'll probably do some Zoom classes, creative writing. One is an art history major, so we may take our trips program and put it virtually, and let her build touring some museums from a lot of different places. And so it might be our virtual Zoom, trips. We have another one who's a violinist, and so maybe we'll get some performances. Speaks fluid French. We were talking about doing a conversational French class. So I think we're going to go in a lot of different directions. I got somebody else reached out to me last night about in the horse racing industry from West Point, and he wanted to know, did he think a program would go over well that is like handicapping and things like that? And I think it would be great. So I think we'll do both. I'm going to be so careful, like how many people before Corona, our issues were we were out of space. We were averaging about 150 people a day coming in our building, and we've been talking for about 3 to 5 years about building a building. We were very close to getting there and looking at launching that for next year. I don't know what this looks like going forward. Are we out of space? I know we got tons of space in there today.
Yeah.
Lois, so I saw on your schedule that you have a fundraiser on the 28th of May, the end of May. And I know it's probably still a little too soon to determine whether or not you're going to be doing that, but how are you still continuing fundraising and getting volunteers? How is that working out for you right now?
I'll start with the positive. Volunteers in the community have been amazing. You have family cards, and with every bag that gets delivered, grocery bag or things, there's a card going in it. We have families. We still have to be careful with our social distancing, even though we're an essential service. So yard work, you have families raising their hands saying, we'll go out and do somebody's yard. You have drivers, people that are very comfortable picking up masks and delivering them. So volunteers have been fantastic. You can call. I'd like to give the number out a couple times. The front desk can redirect anybody anywhere. So it's 518-584-1621. And that's, if you call there, it's the simplest way. Call, you don't get somebody, leave a message. We'll get right back to you. And we love volunteers. We love donations of all the things I've been talking about. But, fundraising is, so yes, we have our big gala, Music and Mingling, on May 28th, which will not happen on May 28th. It's not too soon for that. There is no way that's going to be able to happen that date. Very sad for us. It was our 10th anniversary this year of that event. And we raised, I speak for all not-for-profits right now. So much of what the not-for-profit world does is through events and fundraising. And, you can't have large groups right now. So how do you do that? And we have different things, even health fairs inside the building that seniors can come and access services for them. We can't do that. So I'm hoping we can do some of those things, but for our gala, we've had many meetings this week about it with the committee, with the board, with everyone. So we are going to postpone it. We haven't firmed up the dates. We're looking at that. I think we might actually do 2 dates. This is kind of the optimist in me. I said we might do like a save the date for July, an optimistic date, and a safe date maybe for September, and we still hope we can do it, but we don't know. We have no idea. My event brings in 500 people. You know, unless we're open completely, we're not having that. Do we do it on a smaller scale? But without those events, you know, sadly, I've been reworking our budget this week, and it's bleak. It's really bleak. And yet we're an essential service and need to provide these services, and so our staffing needs to continue. So I think I'm going to give a new little plug. We have a good friend, a volunteer, somebody who's worked there, been on the board, all those kind of things, who's kind of marketing. And we had a staff meeting today on Zoom, and we're going to start launching some digital campaigns. You know, I kind of would love to tease it, but not quite yet. Like May is membership month, and I think we're going to open up. You know, listen, you can buy your neighbor, your mother, anybody. It's $25 for a year to be a member there. You know, if we got so many people in the community, give a 50th birthday party, you know, present for a membership to the center. We get the word out, we spread it, it helps support. There's a couple other really cool campaigns. You know, as you know, we have a senior population. There's many seniors out there who are graduating from high school, hopefully with a graduation ceremony of Skidmore College graduating. Are they going to have a graduation ceremony? I don't know. So there's a lot of seniors, so to speak, in many ways. And so, you know, I think we're going to try to launch some digital campaigns, because I can tell you right now, us in particular, and I don't want to speak for every not-for-profit out there, but we're going to be in big trouble this year, big trouble with our operations budget, because, you know, some companies are doing really well and have been supportive. I had a friend call me and he said, my company is doing really, really well and I want to help you. And he sent me a $5,000 check, and I cried. You know, and today we opened the mail, there was a $100 donation. And, you know, we used to charge for classes inside. We don't in-house, you know, minimally. Some were $2, some were $5, some were $10, whatever, a month, by the way, not like each class. And we aren't doing that right now. You know, I don't know. We are going to have to get really creative in operations because for us, the need is only going to grow and have to be almost like we talked about earlier, 2 ways, in the building and out. So it's a huge need. There are some, we write a lot of grants, and some of the foundations and things are repurposing some money. But like I said, all not-for-profits are hurting, you know, most especially the essential ones, which in this crisis, I mean, I've got seniors. I want them to stay home. I want them to stay home, but I'm so worried about the isolation, you know, and health issues. You know, we do wellness checks all the time. Somebody doesn't come to their exercise class for a couple of weeks or a week and a half. We're calling home and checking on where they are. I don't know how they're doing. I know we have lost at least 8 seniors that we're aware of. And we find that out. Sometimes they call us, but some, you know, we see in the obituaries or whatever. It's very sad. I don't know if it's to Corona. I can't comment on that. I have no idea. I don't want to get into that. But, you know, we're losing seniors. We want them to stay home, but we want them to stay connected. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah. What's the easiest way for one to become a member?
Couple different ways. You can go onto our website. It's SaratogaSeniorCenter.org. There's a link right there. You can just call our front desk, 518-584-1621. They can do something right there. You're supposed to be, the original bylaws, this is also our 65th anniversary year, which we had a big event coming up in August, which we're not canceling yet. It was going to be a golf tournament and a Sipping for Seniors guest bartending event, just kind of a really fun party celebration. We're not canceling yet, but 65 years ago, somebody had the foresight to developed this agency, and in their bylaws they put 50 and older. So that is why you have to be 50 or older to be a member, that are in our bylaws. I think we're going to launch something that's like an honorary membership level, and so anybody can really become a member this year. Just, support the agency.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a whole stigma. Some people are like, 50? I'm not a senior. And other people literally knock on our doors like, wait, when can I start taking your exercise classes for $10 a month and your
Right.
yoga
Right.
classes? So, but there's even people, honestly, who are 80. I mean, we have people that come in there in their mid 90s who are still super active. And, so a lot of people are like, I don't want to join a senior center. My average age, I have 1,500 members. The average age of a member is 70 to 72. It's a very, very active senior center. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I got plenty in the 90s, but I also had people in their 50s. So I think what I'm excited about this membership drive too is it kind of takes the stigma away from I'm joining a senior center, to do activities. And it really opens it up to the community. And I think for people who are in that gray area of I'm really not ready for it, but like I don't want to walk in that door, that would be like a hit to my ego. I think for folks like that, this is a really safe way to support your senior center. There's plenty of people and plenty of, we have like 24% of our population in Saratoga Springs, almost a quarter. It's going to go up to a third of our population in Saratoga Springs are adults, older adults.
Yeah.
If I can get those people to just do an honorary membership, it would probably keep us afloat for a while.
Well, yeah, I would be the first in line to do that as a way to contribute, become an honorary member. And you're right. That would take the sting off of. I could just say now I'm a member of the senior center, and then
that would be.
I get it over with now.
And you know what? There are some really cool things with that. It is 50 or older, and like SPAC, Elizabeth Sobel, when she came to town, she was fantastic, and she and I met, and she's like, I want people in my seats, and she gave us discounted tickets to everything. So just being a member, so I get people who join just because of SPAC discounts, and they come in and you can get discounted tickets to the orchestra, to the ballet, not Live Nation, but she does her wine and food festival. She does everything for us. So that's kind of a big selling point for the younger population.
Yeah.
Of reasons to join. It's benefiting two agencies, and yeah, so there's a lot of good things going on.
No, it sounds like there's a ton of great things.
Oh, did you want to talk about some of the classes that some of the classes that are going on right now on Zoom?
So some of the classes are strictly social.
Yeah.
What I would want to say to people is, and we try to get this out in our e-blasts and our messaging, is that even if you never joined were part of the ceramics class in the past, or any of these classes that are online, and you can go right to the website to see the updated schedule of classes. It's a social piece, so you can join it. And then exercise-wise, right now we have one yoga class. I think by next week, we're going to have 2 yoga classes throughout the week. We've got Aiden's doing strength training twice a week. I think we're going to add a Zumba next week. We've got a couple of our peer support groups. So we have a music and memories kind of a class. I'm not sure if that's going to continue or not because it didn't have a lot of the participants. Our reminiscing group, so that is just like a topic comes up and you sit and they chat about it and where were you when this happened, but again, a lot of peer social support groups. Art classes, we have our ceramics group, but we also have a drawing class, and that legitimately you need a piece of paper and a pencil and an eraser, and so that can happen. And we're going to keep adding. I'm really excited to add our Skidmore students, and they're very excited to bring their own ideas to it. I got to talk to 3 of them yesterday, and they are already like bustling with ideas. So every week the schedule is growing. We're into our 2nd week of doing it. We did a learn to Zoom class, because if somebody new signs on, you have to kind of walk them through the audio and the video, and I'm right here, you get that all the time. But we had 35 people on that. And now we're also doing one-on-one. So if anybody wants to get onto this, doesn't have an iPod, I really want to write a grant, and I'm trying to find some resources to ask for donations of iPads, laptops, old smartphones, something that can get people connected. And maybe we can set it up with just Zoom on it, or Facebook Live is going to be huge. I'm already hearing some of like in the fall, some companies, if they're worried about getting out to certain populations and doing things, they're going to be doing it on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So, informationally, that might be worth it. So if you call the front desk, again, 584-1621, we'll give you an appointment one-on-one with a volunteer to learn how to get on Facebook, how to do Facebook Live, how to get on Zoom, and also census. Obviously, the government, we want to save the government as much money as we can right now. I don't think all the seniors understand that, they were sent the census, and yes, you'll eventually get a paper copy of that and you can send it in, but we're trying to get people to do it online. So we have volunteers that will work one-on-one with that person. We'll sign on. All they have to do is give them their census number and we'll answer all the questions. Or we can walk them through it on their computer. Turn it on. Let us show you how to do it. You can even do it on a smartphone. So we're doing a lot of one-on-one tech assistance with all of that. So yeah, a lot going on.
Lois, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so important for us to get the word out to seniors. Again, if anybody that needs anything, please call our front desk, and whatever it is, we are there to help anyone.